You are listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Boxshall, in which I chronicle my life and attempts to become a professional writer by, doing some writing, daily, hopefully. Hello, today is Wednesday the 9th of October. You're listening to The Diary, the diary really. Not really sure what to say today, so I'm just going to go through the things I've done. I haven't done an awful lot, actually. So one of the things I started a little while back was a complete rewatch of Doctor Who, and I started with the 1963 opening episode, which luckily I have on DVD because it's there's been a dispute about the rights to it, so it's the one Doctor Who story the BBC weren't able to put on iPlayer for the 60th anniversary, where they put everything else on last year. And I'm currently watching the final story in the third series. Now, in those days, they did 40 plus 25-minute episodes every year. So to say I'm towards the end of series 3 means I've watched about 120 episodes. I mean, they're 25-minute episodes, they're not hours. But yeah, and it's good. Now, what's funny about the early stuff is there's quite a big chunk of it missing. Now, the BBC have got the audio from every single episode, even the missing ones. And what they've been doing over the last few years is, quite a while actually, is animating missing stories. So I've listened. So some of the missing episodes I've listened to. Some of the ones I've physically watched with the animation. So it's not like I've been able to skip the episodes they don't have in the archive. There is some way of watching them. So yes, so I'm up to a story called The War Machines, which is the final 4-part story of the third series, starring William Hartnell still. And in fact, William Hartnell, everybody thinks he did 3 years and Troughton did 3 years, but actually the first 8 episodes of series 4 is also Hartnell. He doesn't change until episode 8 of that series, which is a bit weird. These days it tends to be the big climax to the series. In those days it was just, it was in the middle of a series, towards the beginning, but mid-series, and the show just had to go on. So I did a bit of that. What else have I done today? I tried to do some reading, but I haven't really been in the mood to read, so I didn't do any reading. I watched, a friend and I are watching old Big Brother, and we don't really want to be watching old Big Brother whilst new Big Brother is on. However, there's only a week left of the one we're watching, and the thought is if we go back to the old series once the new series is finished, it'll be like, who's that, what's happening? So we've sort of got this week overlap where we're watching both. But yeah, watched the penultimate Friday show today, so the last but one. There might be some more evictions actually, but it was the year, I don't know if anyone remembers it, it was the year with I think Rachel won it, and Lisa was in it for a while, and the blind guy Mikey, and the albino black American guy Darnell, and Mario and Lisa, and various characters. It's actually my least favourite series so far because there's some nice people, but there's some horrible people in it as well. So anyway, we watched that. I'm trying to think what else. Oh, and I've I got it into my head that I want to watch Life on Mars again, because there's actually a thing on tonight with the 2 lead actors from Life on Mars. I can't remember what it's about. It's a documentary thing on one of the channels. So that made me, I was just seeing the picture of the 2 of them together made me think I should watch Life on Mars, because though I've seen all of Life on Mars, to actually get the full story, you have to watch the sequel series, which is called Ashes to Ashes, which is basically the same, only one of the lead characters, so John Sim, isn't in it anymore. It's a different character, and it's set in the 80s instead of the 70s, but all the cops are the same, or most of the cops are the same. So yeah, I thought about, I've started watching the first episode of that today. That's pretty good fun. And in terms of doing the things I need to do, I haven't. I've eaten too much because I don't know, I just mentally I'm trying to manage what I eat and lose some weight, but it's really not happening. The state my fried head is in at the moment. Not quite sure why it's... I do, but I don't want to talk about it on here. So it's just been a bit of a weird sort of non-event of a day. And I've still got a week before I go back to work. I go back to work on a week tomorrow on the Thursday, and there's stuff I really need to get done by then. Not that I'm back at work for long. I'm back at work for 2 long haul flights, a training session, and a single day of short haul flight. Sorry, 2 pairs of long haul flights, so 5 days flying. So I've basically got 6 days flying and 3 days training, and then I've got my month off in November. I mean, at this rate, I wanted to get the first draft of Empress of the Trees done by, well, I'd said the 25th of November. End of November will be absolutely fine. Whether I'll succeed or not, it just depends if my brain goes back to where it needs to be. And I really thought going on holiday would help, but it didn't. I'll be honest, I didn't particularly enjoy being away very much. I did a couple of really good fun things, like I really enjoyed the horse-drawn barge day out. That was nice. And catching up with a friend in Portland. But yeah, other than that, I'm struggling to enjoy things at the moment. So yeah, so I'm going to have to try and do something different tomorrow. I want to have an early night, but Big Brother's on. But I might just watch the main show and not watch Late and Live, which is kind of the modern day equivalent of Big Brother's Little Brother or Big Brother's Big Mouth. You know, it's the sort of show where they talk about it after the main show's been on. Maybe I'll leave that till tomorrow. So yeah, bit of a rubbish kind of day, really. Didn't achieve very much. I really want to do some reading, but I'm struggling to concentrate. I think part of the problem genuinely is my living room is such a tip at the moment. There's just stuff everywhere because I've been moving stuff around in preparation to get this decorating done. And it feels like nothing in my house has got a permanent home at the moment. I don't actually like being in the living room, which means, yeah, there's nowhere really for me to relax in the house, it feels like at the moment. And it all stems from I need to get the spare bedroom and loft thing sorted out, which, like I say, is a couple of hours work if I get myself in order. But that doesn't seem to be happening at the moment. So, yeah, good fun. All right, anyway, I'll shut up and I'll be back at some point tomorrow, maybe with some writing done, but probably not. Take care, bye-bye. You have been listening to The Diary of a Wannabe Writer, presented by Richard A. Boxall. Thank you for tuning in to my random ramblings, and if you'd like to know more about me or my projects, visit my Linktree at linktr.ee/Richard Writes, capital R, capital W. Thank you for listening.